My name is Lynn, and today I'll be talking about effective presentation skills. The steps to an effective presentation include preparation, the audience, the structure, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion or summary. Preparing your presentation. Recognize the importance of preparation for an effective presentation. Decide on the content. Sequence key elements of the presentation structure. Decide whether to use visual aids. The introduction, very important. It's the first impression of you, and if you concentrate on getting your introduction right, it will set the entire presentation in stance. The introduction is used to welcome your audience, introduce yourself, introduce your subject or the title of your talk, outline the structure of your presentation, and give instructions about asking questions. Audience welcome. Some examples. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. Good to see you here this morning. While you're waiting, please help yourself to coffee and cakes. The audience. Consider your audience. Who are they? Are they internal or external, clients or colleagues? Are they professionals or non-professionals? Are they purchasers or sellers? Are they providers or users? The purpose and the audience will determine the tone and focus of your presentation. Introduce yourself. You can say, let me introduce myself, let me tell you something about myself, for those of you who don't know me. Introducing your subject. Tell your audience the purpose of the presentation. The why is linked to the conclusion, so that's the most important part of your presentation. Purpose. Today, I'm going to talk about the purpose of my presentation is to introduce a new range of, my purpose today is, or the reason we are here today is. The outline. Outline the main points that you're going to develop and the order you would like to develop these in. Use sequencing language. 1, 2, 3, firstly, secondly, thirdly. I'm going to develop 3 main points. I would like to start with. Use these again, sequencers, and then lastly, finally. Describe the progress made this year. Mention some of the problems. How we overcame them. Possibilities for future growth next year. Summarize the presentation. Ask questions. A standard outline of the introduction. And now looking at the introduction and sequencing. To start with, I'll describe the progress made this year. Then I'll mention some of the problems we've encountered and how we overcame them. After that, I'll consider the possibilities for further growth next year. Finally, I'll summarize my presentation before concluding with some recommendation. So we're setting out the purpose, the intent, what we're going to talk about, and how this will all be delivered to our audience. Now, questions. Questions are a good opportunity for you to interact with the audience. The audience shows their interest by asking questions. You can predict questions so you can prepare a response in advance. You can accept questions at any time during your presentation, or keep time for your questions after your presentation. You'll make questioning clear during your introduction. Always be polite with questioners, even if they ask difficult questions. How we deal with questions. You can say, do feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. I'll try to answer all your questions after the presentation. I plan to keep some time for questions after the presentation. This allows your audience to know if they have questions during your presentation, whether they should interrupt you or write their questions down to ask you at the end. Structure. The body. The body is the real presentation. If the introduction was well prepared and delivered, you will now be in control. You will be relaxed and confident. The body should be well structured, divided up logically, with plenty of carefully spaced visuals. Structure. Signposts. Signposts structure and shape the main content of your presentation. They create verbal signals and raise the attention curve at the beginning and the end of each point. Signposts allow you to guide the audience through the structure of the presentation, linking one point to the next, and they are simple but highly effective technique that helps make the presentation clear. Your conclusion. Use the conclusion to sum up, give recommendations if appropriate, thank your audience, and invite questions. Some examples of ways that we conclude a presentation. To conclude, in conclusion, now to sum up. So let me summarize or recap what I've said. Finally, may I remind you of some of the main points we've considered. In conclusion, my recommendations are: I suggest or propose or recommend the following strategy. Many thanks for your attention. May I thank you all for being such an attentive audience. Now I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Can I answer any questions? Are there any questions? Do you have any questions? And are there any final questions? Visual aids. The use of visual aids should give the title of the talk. They secondly should show the structure of the talk, meaning the main headings. Keep the text to a minimum. Never just read text from the visual. Use pauses. Give the audience time to understand the picture. And when speaking in public, you are your own best visual. Tools to present visual information. We've got the overhead projector, which I think is pretty obsolete, the podium with the microphones, laptop, whiteboard, slide projector, and a flip chart. We can also use bar graphs, pie charts, line graphs, pictures, diagrams, and flow charts. Now we'll look at some presenter techniques. Effective presenters require preparation, passion, and performance. Preparation. Most important, know your subject. Rehearse and practice in front of family members, colleagues, or friends. It's important to practice in front of a mirror to get your expressions, make sure you look confident and comfortable, keeping eye contact and certainly smiling. Record your presentation and listen to it regularly when you are doing routine things. And visualize yourself giving a successful presentation. The audience, preparation. Decide on the appropriate level of formality and dress accordingly. Keep eye contact, and move around when possible. Presenter the preparation, the introduction. In any presentation, beginning is crucial. Greet your audience. Introduce yourself. Give the title of your talk. Describe the structure of your talk. Explain that the audience can interrupt if they want. And say something about the length of your talk. Use the 3 parts of your presentation to reinforce the subject, which is your message. In the introduction, you let the audience know the message. In the body, you give your audience the message. In the conclusion, you summarize the message. Public speaking ranks among one of the greatest fears for most people. Many people get nervous just anticipating giving a presentation, and that's why preparation is so important. Some tips to jumpstart your presentation. Make your audience feel welcome. Smile. Make introductions. Say a few words about yourself. Find something original or exciting in the news that might be relevant to your presentation topic. Depending on the audience and purpose of the presentation, you can give a bit of relevant information that might be unusual or surprising. Some key points for performance. Do not hurry. Be enthusiastic. Give time for visuals. Maintain eye contact. Change tone and volume of your voice. Look friendly. Keep to your structure. Use your notes. Signpost throughout. And remain polite when dealing with difficult questions. Dealing with being nervous. And some thoughts on performance. Be prepared. Knowing your subject is the most important step. Take a deep breath and relax. Think of speaking to only one person, not to a large group. Stand up when speaking in public. Even if there are only 3 people in attendance, it sends a signal that says, "You're so important that I'm going to stand even for the 3 of you." And body language during your performance. When speaking in public, you are your own best visual. Give 3 to 5 seconds of eye contact to each person. Move around the room or the stage if possible. Smile and nod while listening. And use appropriate gestures for emphasis and maintain a relaxed stance. In conclusion, be prepared. Know your subject, know your audience, structure your presentation, good introduction, strong body with signposts, and recap the main points in conclusion. Thanks for watching a Speak English online video. See you next time.